Welcome to Top Branch, a series from the Dove Agency, where we're rooted in stability and reaching for growth. Join the Dove Agency and our special guests as we bring you expert insights and practical solutions to help your interior design business thrive. This is Top Branch. Let's grow together.
Hi, I'm Ruth Ann Jansen, and this is Beth Fender, and we are back for another episode of Top Branch. Today we are talking about I think it's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
We get asked about this a lot at the Dove Agency, so we wanted to give you some little takeaways around this topic.
It's kind of a sensitive topic.
It is sensitive.
Kind of sensitive.
That's true. That's true. This is about employee profitability, and as a business owner, how do you measure that profitability, and sort of what are the target profitabilities that you should be looking for in your employees?
Yep. And we said we're going to try to give you nuggets of information, and so we're just not even going to bury the lead this time. We're just going to come straight out and tell you your employee profitability needs to be at 40%. To run a successful firm with the margins that you need to be able to cover kind of those bottom line expenses, and then to be able to have enough money to take home yourself, your employee profitability needs to be at 40%. So how do you get there? So I'm going to let Ruth Ann first talk about how you get there, and then we're going to kind of
weave it all
circle back
together.
around with some procurement conversation.
Yeah, and the 40% is a standard that's for a service business, right? Like interior design's a service business, the Dove Agency is a service business. So this is something that's somewhat standardized, but also, like unique to us. Let's talk about how you calculate this. So if you're really ambitious, you could get a little pen and paper. Basically, the first thing you have to do is figure out how much profit did that employee bring in. And we're going to do this over a monthly period. So for the month, and here's my example. You have an employee that bills out at $150 an hour, and they had 100 billable hours for the month. So that is $15,000. So that's the profit that they made for the month. Then what you have to do is consider what the cost of that employee was for the month. And in my example, I have that the employee is $80,000 a year employee. Just divide that by 12, and that's $6,666 of cost. What that gives you for profit is $15,000 minus that 6,000, that's hard to say, and that gives you a profit of $8,334. So to get that percentage, you take that profit, which is $8,334, and you divide that by 15,000. This is going back to like 7th grade math, and that gives you a profit of 55%. So in this example, our employee was killing it.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about what kind of employees could you expect for what kind of profit margin. So obviously, if you are a senior designer and you're running a larger firm, you have more employees under you, so there's more management time. So you can't expect that every single employee in your company is going to all follow this magic number. They all have the exact amount of, profitability, and they're all reaching that 40%.
Right.
You might have one that's reaching a 60%, and you might have one that's reaching a 30%. The goal is to look at your firm holistically and say, are all of my employees together getting to that base at 40%? So what is one employee that we see often overlooked in this calculation? It's the procurement associate. A lot of times we see designers have an assistant, or they bring in an intern, or they have a junior designer, and that's the person that's doing the procurement. But not all that procurement time is actually getting billed back to the client or even being tracked. That is a huge hit to your employee's profitability, because that employee needs to be looked at as, that is a service to the end client, and that client needs to be paying for that, so that you can recognize that profit and that profit from that employee.
Yeah, that's one thing, like Beth said, we see that a lot with the procurement time, that kind of forgetting to be billed, if you will. And the second thing is, when designers are making the decision of when to hire, this is something that's a real easy, like back of the envelope kind of calculation, like to kind of project out, oh, I think I need another designer on my team. Well, how many hours a month do you think that designer is going to be able to bill out based upon how much you're going to be paying them? Do this calculation and come up with, is this person going to be even swimming in the circle of this 40%, or is this really off because either I don't have the business, or maybe they're expecting too high of a salary, the person that you're talking to, etc. So this is just a really good test to kind of look at the overall health of your business in terms of your employees and how they're contributing to your company, as well as helping you make decisions down the road. And there are some tools that can help you do this. So let's talk about those a little bit.
So I think first of all, one of the best tools that you just got was the exact calculation.
Yes.
So, you can take that calculation and you can go crunch numbers. We have built a tool within ID Nest that you can go in and quickly put the information in and get your overall firm's employee profitability. So that's a good one. I think that there are other softwares out there as well that have great tools. But the most important thing that I think you need to be doing is you've got to be looking at this monthly.
Yeah.
And you need to be writing down what those, what that employee's profitability was month over month. Because when you're looking at the end of the year and you want to decide, was this employee profitable? Or, hey, I'm getting really busy, I need to go hire another employee. Is it this employee or that kind of employee that I go hire? You need to know what was their overall yearly profitability.
It's just good to keep tabs on it. And I think whether you have a tool or whether you're doing it yourself by crunching these numbers,
sticking it in Excel.
Or you have a service provider, like whether it's, our firm does this work, or whether you have a bookkeeper that helps with your business. This is something that, anybody with this type of background can easily help with this calculation and help you keep this monitored. Monthly is best. Quarterly, but I'd say monthly for sure, to keep on top of it and make sure that things are, you just don't want to be carrying extra costs where you don't have the revenue to support it. So looking at your employee profitability on a timely basis is a good little business tip.
And I think last thing too, I think it's very empowering to your employees when you can give them a measurable goal and you can say, hey, you know what I'm wanting from you is I really need you to hit this many billable hours a month. It drives them to understand, hey, my time is valuable and you are looking at my time. And I think that's
and it's a real black and white metric. Like if you have an HR situation where you're trying to talk to an employee about their performance, it's a really black and white calculation in terms of 40%, or they're at 31, or they're at 17, or something like that. So you can show them a number to actually support a conversation that you might need to have with them.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay, we're going to end. We always like to stay on time, and then we like to end with our quote. And today, this one is from the great Warren Buffett. You might have heard of him. He's a little bit of a businessman. I think he's like 93 or 94, something like that. Yeah. Should have probably looked that up before. But this is a good quote from him.
At the go.
Yeah, he definitely is. Your employees should be your biggest asset, not your biggest expense. So there you go. Something to think about.
Absolutely. Okay.
See you next time.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
The Dove Agency is committed to services that ensure your financial stability and growth. As part of our dedication to the design industry, we present ID Nest, a powerful software solution for designers. Built by industry experts, it integrates financial insights, project and task management, time tracking, CRM and marketing tools to streamline workflow and power your designs. Join us next time on Top Branch. And in the meantime, to learn more, visit idnest.com.